You probably think it's healthy. Maybe you even feel proud for choosing it. A handful in the morning, mixed into your cereal, maybe a spoonful over your yogurt. It's crunchy, natural, full of good fats, and everyone tells you it's good for the heart. But what if this popular nut, the one sitting in your pantry right now, is silently inflaming your brain? Here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Inflammation in the brain doesn't start with pain. It starts with fog, confusion, memory lapses, that strange moment when you forget a name, misplace the keys, or lose your train of thought mid-sentence. Most people shrug it off. That's just aging, they say. But what if it isn't? Recent studies published in the Journal of Neuroinflammation have revealed that certain nuts, especially when roasted with vegetable oils or preserved with specific additives, trigger low-grade inflammation in the brain. These oils, like canola, soybean, or sunflower, oxidize at high temperatures. When you consume them regularly, they don't just impact your arteries, they slowly degrade the delicate network of neurons responsible for clarity, memory, and emotional balance. And the worst part? This doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, subtle, creeping in over years, until the damage becomes too big to ignore. That's why many seniors experience what doctors call silent brain inflammation, a state where the brain is under constant attack, without obvious symptoms. Not pain, not fever, just decline. Now imagine this. Every morning, you unknowingly feed the inflammation. A spoonful here, a snack there. You think you're helping your heart, but your brain is paying the price. But here's the good news. This is reversible. With a few changes, you can start reducing inflammation today. The first step is awareness, knowing what's truly helping you and what's secretly harming you. And no, this isn't about fear. It's about power. The power to choose foods that protect your memory, preserve your mental clarity, and restore your sense of control. Before we move on, let me ask you something. How many times this week have you eaten something thinking it was healthy, but didn't check the label? Drop it in the comments below. And stay with us, because the most dangerous one will be revealed at the end. It starts subtly. You walk into a room and forget why. You pause mid-sentence, trying to remember a word that's just out of reach. You start writing something down, a grocery list, a phone number, and suddenly it slips from your mind. These aren't just senior moments. They are red flags, early warnings. But no one told you they could be caused by what you're eating. Let's talk about breakfast. The most innocent meal of the day, right? You wake up, feel a little tired, and reach for something quick. Toast, cereal, maybe a fruit smoothie with some honey or natural sweeteners. But here's the truth. Many of these foods are ultra-processed, high in refined sugars and hidden additives that disrupt your insulin levels. And your brain pays the price. When blood sugar spikes repeatedly, it causes a process called glycation. It's like caramelizing your brain from the inside out. This damages proteins essential for memory and neuron communication. According to a study published in Neurology, people over 60 with unstable blood sugar are up to 42% more likely to develop cognitive decline, even without diabetes. And yet, most people keep eating the same things every morning, thinking they're being healthy. Even fruit juices, marketed as vitamin-packed, are often stripped of fiber and loaded with fructose. Your brain doesn't need more sugar. It needs stability, balance, clean fuel. Now imagine this happening every single day. Your brain is like an engine. When it runs on dirty fuel, it gets sluggish, foggy, less precise. You begin to lose not just your memory, but your sharpness, your confidence, your identity. Let's make this practical. Here's a simple tip you can apply tomorrow morning. Instead of sugary cereal or toast, try a boiled egg with olive oil and avocado slices. Add cinnamon to your coffee instead of sweeteners. These small swaps stabilize blood sugar and feed your brain the nutrients it actually needs. And remember this, mental fog is not just about forgetting things. It's about slowly forgetting who you are. Still with me? Don't skip the next section. The food we're about to reveal is probably in your kitchen right now, and it's far more harmful than sugar. You wake up tired, not just physically, but mentally drained. Even after a full night's sleep, your energy feels flat. Your body moves slower, your thoughts feel heavier, and you tell yourself, I'm just getting older. But what if that constant fatigue is actually brain inflammation in disguise? There's a little-known connection between your gut, your immune system, and your brain. It's called the gut-brain axis. And for people over 60, this connection becomes dangerously fragile. One of the biggest disruptors? A food you've likely trusted your whole life. Whole wheat bread. That's right, even the healthy kind. The problem isn't just gluten. It's gliadin, a protein found in wheat that, in many people over 60, increases intestinal permeability, something scientists call leaky gut. When your gut lining breaks down, inflammatory molecules like LPS, lipopolysaccharides, escape into your bloodstream and reach your brain. What happens next? Microglial activation. Think of it as your brain's immune system panicking. These cells, meant to protect you, start attacking healthy neurons, thinking they're threats. This leads to chronic brain fog, depression, poor memory, and eventually even neurodegenerative diseases. And here's the silent danger. You feel this as fatigue. Not a fever, not pain, just a heavy mental fog that settles over your day like a gray cloud. You drink more coffee. You try to push through, but deep down, your brain is inflamed and overloaded. Here's a second actionable tip. Start reducing processed carbs, even the ones labeled whole grain. Replace them with anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, chia seeds, turmeric, and omega-3 rich fish. These nourish the gut and calm the brain. You'll notice the difference not in a day, but in a week. Less heaviness, sharper thoughts, more energy that feels real. Now let's pause for a moment. Close your eyes and imagine waking up tomorrow with a clear head. No confusion, no dragging yourself out of bed. Just focus, energy, and a calm mind. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you feed your brain correctly. But we're not done yet, because the next food on the list, the one you probably add to your meals thinking it's healthy, is quietly shortening your attention span. Don't go anywhere. It looks harmless. A golden drizzle over your morning oatmeal, a squeeze into your tea, a natural alternative to sugar praised for centuries. We're talking about honey. Yes, even raw, organic honey. Because while it's marketed as nature's gift, for people over 60, it may be doing far more harm than good. Let's break it down. Honey is mostly fructose, and while fructose from whole fruits is bound to fiber and absorbed slowly, the free-form fructose in honey floods your system fast, especially when consumed alone or on an empty stomach. This sudden surge hits your liver like a freight train, and for older adults, that can trigger a cascade of metabolic stress. What most people don't realize is that the aging brain becomes more sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. When fructose spikes your insulin, your brain experiences a rapid rise and fall in energy. This roller coaster effect leads to mental crashes, irritability, difficulty concentrating, and over time, it erodes the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. In a 2022 study published by Frontiers in Neuroscience, elderly subjects who consumed high fructose diets showed significant shrinkage in brain volume, decreased recall ability, and elevated markers of inflammation in key neural tissues. Translation? That spoonful of honey may be sweet, but it's quietly eating away at your clarity and focus. Here's something even more concerning. Your brain uses glucose as its primary fuel, but under chronic sugar stress, your insulin receptors start to malfunction. This is called insulin resistance, and it doesn't just lead to diabetes. It leads to what neurologists now call type 3 diabetes, Alzheimer's disease. So what can you do about it? Start with this simple swap. Instead of sweetening your drinks with honey, try adding cinnamon or a drop of vanilla extract. Not only do they add flavor, but cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar and reduce brain inflammation. For a stronger solution, introduce MCT oil into your morning routine. It gives your brain clean, stable energy without the crash. But there's more to this than sugar. It's about trust. The food industry labels something as natural or raw, and we believe it's safe. Especially as we age, we tend to rely on the habits we grew up with. But the truth is, your body has changed. Your brain has changed. What worked at 30 may now be a silent risk at 60. So here's the paradox. The sweetness you trust may be souring your brain. And now, let's go deeper, because the next section isn't about sugar, oil, or bread. It's about a nutrient your brain desperately needs, but most diets leave completely empty. Without it, neurons wither, signals slow down, and mental resilience fades. Imagine forgetting less just by restoring one essential building block. That's next. Stay with me. Think of your brain as a giant city, billions of neurons constantly sending messages, signals, thoughts, emotions, like traffic on a busy highway. Now imagine if the roads started crumbling, pavement breaking, bridges collapsing, traffic slowing to a crawl. That's what happens inside your brain when it lacks one vital nutrient, choline. choline isn't some trendy supplement. It's an essential nutrient that supports the structure of brain cells and the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for memory, attention, and learning. Without enough choline, your neurons can't communicate properly. Messages get delayed, thoughts feel hazy, focus weakens, and slowly, your mental sharpness fades. Here's the alarming part. Over 90% of adults over 60 are deficient in choline. And the reason? It's been systematically removed from modern diets. The foods richest in choline, like liver, egg yolks, and fatty fish, have been demonized for decades. We were told to fear cholesterol, to skip the yolk, to choose low fat. Everything. But in doing so, we starved our brains of what they needed most. The consequences are serious. In a landmark study from Boston University, older adults with low choline intake performed significantly worse on memory and cognitive tests, and their brain scans showed noticeable structural decline. Meanwhile, those with higher choline consumption had better attention, faster recall, and greater resistance to age-related memory loss. So how do you fix it? Here's an actionable tip you can start today. Eat 2 whole eggs for breakfast, yolk included. Add a handful of wild-caught salmon to your lunch. If you're comfortable with it, incorporate grass-fed liver into your meals once a week. These foods are naturally rich in bioavailable choline, and they feed your brain exactly what it's missing. Not a fan of liver? That's okay. You can also try phosphatidylcholine, a supplement derived from sunflower or soy lecithin. It's easily absorbed and helps rebuild the cellular walls of neurons, restoring their speed and flexibility. Let's visualize this. You're sitting with your grandchild. You remember their name, their birthday, and the story they told you last week. You feel clear, present, connected. That's what choline gives you, the ability to stay truly alive in your mind, even as your body ages. But here's the danger. Even if you add choline, if you're still consuming the next food on our list, your brain will keep deteriorating, because the next food isn't just inflammatory. It doesn't just affect memory or attention. It accelerates the breakdown of your brain's protective barrier, the very shield that keeps toxins out and thoughts intact. And the worst part? It's in almost every kitchen, often hidden in plain sight. And yes, it will be revealed. Right now, it's cheap, convenient, found in nearly every pantry. You've probably eaten it for years, maybe even today, without realizing what it's doing to your brain. But according to a groundbreaking study from Oxford University, this one ingredient can increase your risk of cognitive decline by up to 28%. So what is it? Vegetable oil. Yes, the same heart-healthy oil promoted on every shelf. Canola, soybean, corn, sunflower, they all share a dangerous trait. When exposed to heat, they oxidize. That means they form free radicals, unstable molecules that damage your brain's neurons and tear through your protective blood-brain barrier like acid through paper. Let's pause there. The blood-brain barrier is your brain's first line of defense, a tightly guarded filter that keeps out toxins and inflammation. But when you regularly consume oxidized oils, this barrier weakens, toxins enter, inflammatory compounds invade, and suddenly you're more vulnerable to anxiety, memory loss, even early Alzheimer's. Worse yet, these oils don't just stay in your food, they get into your tissues. Your brain is made of 60% fat, and when you fill it with rancid oils, the very structure of your thoughts begins to rot. Studies show a direct correlation between high intake of polyunsaturated vegetable oils and increased levels of amyloid plaques, the same plaques seen in Alzheimer's patients. Now think about this. You saute your vegetables in it. You bake with it. It's in your salad dressing, your bread, your snacks, your frozen meals. Even healthy granola bars and plant-based products often use these oils as binders or fillers. Here's a simple tip to protect your brain immediately. Throw out any oils labeled vegetable, canola, or corn. Replace them with extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed avocado oil, or virgin coconut oil. These fats are stable, anti-inflammatory, and support healthy brain function, especially when used raw or at low cooking temperatures. And here's something few people realize. Vegetable oil doesn't just damage your memory, it affects your mood. Inflammation in the brain reduces serotonin production and shrinks the hippocampus, the part responsible for joy, emotional regulation, and long-term memory. That's why so many older adults feel foggy, frustrated or emotionally flat without understanding why. Now close your eyes and imagine you're cooking lunch. The sun's coming through the window. You drizzle real olive oil over your vegetables, knowing you're feeding your brain, protecting your future, and reclaiming clarity. There's no confusion, no fear, just peace. This is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about making small, powerful changes that protect your identity, your independence, your ability to stay you. And if you've come this far, you now know the truth. The most dangerous foods aren't the ones you fear. They're the ones you trust. But now you see them. Now you know. And now you can choose differently. If this video touched you, share it. Sometimes a simple warning is what saves a life. Take a deep breath and let yourself settle. You've just walked through something most people never stop to question. The slow, invisible decline of the mind that begins not with memory loss, but with everyday foods disguised as harmless. What you've learned isn't just about nutrition, it's about awareness. The truth is, many of the symptoms we accept as normal aging, the mental fog, the constant fatigue, the forgetfulness, are not inevitable. They're often the result of small, repeated choices. But now, you're no longer making those choices blindly. You've seen how so-called healthy foods can quietly inflame your brain, how unstable oils break down your cognitive defenses, and how nutrient deficiencies erode memory, focus, and even emotional balance. You've also discovered simple changes, powerful practical steps that begin to restore what's been lost. This is where transformation begins, not with medication, not with fear, but with conscious, informed action. Tomorrow, start fresh. Choose whole foods rich in choline. Eliminate the oils that corrode your brain from the inside. Replace processed sugar with cinnamon, turmeric, or real nourishing fat. Support your brain like you'd support a loved one in recovery, with care, consistency, and respect. And now, picture yourself months from today. You wake up with clarity. You remember what you planned, what you read, who you spoke to yesterday. You sit with your family and feel connected, not just present in body but fully alive in thought. No more struggling to recall a name. No more wondering if the fog will ever lift. Just steady focus, calm energy, a renewed sense of control. This is what it means to age with dignity. Not to accept decline, but to face it with intention. You don't need to be young again. You just need to protect what still burns bright inside you. If any part of this resonated with you, if you felt the truth of it deep down, then share it. Because sometimes the most important thing we can do is warn someone we care about. Not with fear, but with love disguised as truth. What saves a life isn't always a pill or a doctor's visit. Sometimes it's a simple reminder that change is still possible. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. You're just one choice away from clarity, and it starts now.